ব্রিটিশ রানী দ্বিতীয় এলিজাবেথ মারা গেছেন। বাকিংহাম প্যালেস সূত্রে এই তথ্য জানিয়েছে বিবিসি। এর আগে রানীর স্বাস্থ্য নিয়ে উদ্বেগ জানান তার চিকিৎসকরা। তিনি চিকিৎসকদের তত্ত্বাবধানে ছিলেন। বৃহস্পতিবার এই খবর পাওয়ার পরই ৯৬ বছর বয়সী রানীকে দেখতে বালমোরাল প্রাসাদে ছুটে যেতে শুরু করেন তার সন্তান সন্ততিরা। রানীর বড় ছেলে ও সিংহাসনের উত্তরাধিকারী প্রিন্স চার্লস ও তার স্ত্রী ক্যামিলা এবং বড় ছেলে প্রিন্স উইলিয়াম বালমোরাল প্রাসাদে পৌঁছান। বাকিংহাম প্যালেসের বিবৃতিতে বলা হয়েছে, স্থানীয় সময় বৃহস্পতিবার সকালে বেশ কিছু পরীক্ষার পর রানীর চিকিৎসকরা তার স্বাস্থ্য নিয়ে উদ্বেগ প্রকাশ করেন। তাকে চিকিৎসা তত্ত্বাবধানে রাখার পরামর্শ দিয়েছেন। বিবৃতিতে আরও বলা হয়েছে, রানী বালমোরালে আছেন, সেখানে তার কোনো অসুবিধা হচ্ছে না। ১৯৫২ সাল থেকে ব্রিটেন ও বেশ কয়েকটি দেশের রানীর দায়িত্ব পালন করছেন এলিজাবেথ।
And she was at heart, people who knew her, it's funny to talk in the past tense now, yes, isn't it? She was a very down-to-earth, a straightforward and unpretentious woman, rather reserved, certainly in her early years. There was none of that sort of vainglorious and overbearing behaviour that we've sometimes perhaps seen with other members of her family. For 70 years, she's been the constant, unchanging presence in the background to our lives, the head of the nation, as she's sometimes been referred to, above politics, but with a shrewd interest in and a grasp of politics and of political figures. So we now look back on, and there will be so many tributes now, as people take this in, as they come to terms with their own emotions. And I'm quite sure there will be many people who are very emotional at this moment. Yeah. As they learn of this news, the death of the Queen. But this nation and so many other nations will now pay tribute to this long life of service which has now ended.
Symbolised everywhere, Nick. The flags are being lowered, and the rainbow, along with the lowered flag, at Windsor, the favourite home of the Queen, so many years. Flags lowered already at Buckingham Palace. And so many elements, Nick, of your appreciation and tribute will be echoed by political leaders at Downing Street. We're expecting Liz Truss to say something fairly soon. The Prime Minister will offer her own sympathy to the royal family, and she will, of course, have her own words of appreciation for the long service of Her Majesty. And there'll be other political leaders too wanting to pay tribute to a lifetime of service, a lifetime of humble commitment to duty, as Nick was saying, and of taking the role as seriously as it's possible to take it, very much in line with the teaching that her father had shared with her all those years ago in Buckingham Palace. King George VI, very proud of his two daughters, and took a long time to offer the experience and learning to his elder daughter Elizabeth. And there you have, at the railings of Buckingham Palace, they are, in line with tradition, posting the formal notice. And that notice will say that Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II has died peacefully today at Balmoral in Scotland, the age of 96, the longest reigning monarch in British history. A lifetime of service to people in the United Kingdom, throughout the Commonwealth, and in many parts of the world. An example of leadership which didn't stray into the realm of politics, and for lots of people, the ideal symbol of what a constitutional monarchy should be like. Well, now the world has been told, and the official notice has been posted as the palace staff make their way back into what was the Queen's home. It is now the home of the King and the Queen Consort, because Prince Charles is now King Charles. Remains to be seen whether he will call himself Charles as king, but we are assuming that he will. And this now is the home of the new monarch, the king, and his consort, the Queen consort. Crowds still gathering at Buckingham Palace because the news has travelled very rapidly here and at Windsor and at all the other royal residences. But of course people will be following these events closely on their televisions and their mobile devices and all kinds of different means of spreading the news and social media as people come to terms with what's happened. And as Nick was saying memorably a few moments ago, it's a seismic event. It's the longest reigning monarch in British history who's left us at the age of 96, and it's not a surprise when someone of that age suffers ill health and eventually passes away. But what is left, of course, is the reflection on what was achieved and the kind of life that was led and the sense of duty and the sense of loyalty and, as Nick was saying, the sense of humility, which seems rather bizarre to say for a monarch.